How you doing, everyone? And welcome to this Friday edition of the Isaac Hayes Show, talking about life, talking about liberty, and talking about the pursuit of happiness and showing you, the audience, and the world that Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good Friday. Hope you have a good weekend planned out. I was off of work for the last 2 days with weather and with the funeral of my uncle that we talked about on the last episode. So after this recording of the show, I gotta go right back to work. But on a Friday, I told someone that yesterday. I said, "Man, it is hard. You have 2 days off, and I understand the reasoning, and all. But you got 2 days off, and you got to go for one more day on a Friday. Puh. And you know, I'm trying to save a lot of my vacation time for Christmas. I want to take off a good chunk of Christmas. So, yeah, but." That's how it is. That's how it is. A quick reminder: we will not be having a show the Friday after Thanksgiving. I'm gonna go ahead and take that week off to spend with the fam. Not the week off, but the Friday off to spend time with the family. And we're gonna go ahead and just chill and relax. The week of Thanksgiving, we will not have a Brothers Just Searching episode. Because again, that is a week to relax and to spend time with the family. So holiday seasons are coming up. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm already hearing about Christmas trees and Christmas music. And look, I'm not against it. Okay, if you want to put up a Christmas tree, you want to play Christmas music, that's up to you. But we're in November. Man, let's get Thanksgiving out the way first. I love the holiday of Thanksgiving. We give thanks to our Lord and Savior Jesus for giving us this great, a great life, a great country. We thank Him for His blessings. We have a lot to be thankful for this year. But I'm already seeing it in my youth group. I walked into the sanctuary the other day, and some of the ladies were singing, and some are in my youth group, and they had Christmas music on. I'm like, it's November. Now, I was also having a bad night that night, too, because, that's maybe why I sounded like a Grinch, because LSU was losing to Alabama. And LSU has a lot of problems. But I'll let Blake from Are You Serious Sports talk about that. I'm not going to talk about LSU. But yeah, it was Christmas music already. Let's get through Thanksgiving first. Let's get through Thanksgiving. If I was a music artist, I would make a Thanksgiving album. You always hear about the Christmas albums. I would make a Thanksgiving album to go ahead and talk about, tell people about Thanksgiving. And who knows? I do sing, so we might have to make an album. I don't know. But anyway, thank you as always for being part of the show. Last Wednesday was by far one of the biggest shows I've done on Rumble. We had a good amount of people come from the Mike Swartz show from Rumble on the other side for Two Mics Live. And it was real fun. So if you're back from the Mike Swartz show, thank you again, and thank you for subscribing. Had a fun day Wednesday. Got to watch some shows on Rumble that I never heard of before. So, and that's thanks to Wendy Wild. So I'm going to give her a shout out in the chat right here. And Wendy does a good job for Mike Swartz and Two Mics Live monitoring their chat. And so she helped us out. And like I said, let's see what happens on today's episode. But don't have that much planned for this weekend. Me and the wife, we're going to our friend's house and watch the new Forge movie. Never watched it yet, so we got some good things planned for this weekend. But let's get through the news, because we did have a lot of news in the last couple of days. And first off, the big story that we would have to talk about would be Trump and Biden coming together in the White House. Look, over the span of 2 years, these two individuals have been sparring with one another politically. Donald Trump has said Biden was not good for the nation and has criticized everything that Biden has done. And Biden has criticized Trump by calling him, not good for democracy, and that he's a threat to democracy, and that he would ruin everything he did. So for the last 2 years, these two individuals have been at each other. And look, the election did not play out the way that the Democrats wanted. But Biden was the original nominee for the Democrat Party. You have people talk to me about this election, and when I will go ahead and mention that Kamala did not receive one vote, and they will, and people will say, "Oh yeah, she did." And I'm talking about the primary. I'm not talking about the general election, because she did get almost 69 million votes. But but in the primary, she did not receive one primary vote. She didn't receive one primary vote in the last time she ran for president of the United States. A lot of people don't remember that. In 2019, when she ran against Biden originally, she did not receive one primary vote. She was the first person to drop out. And look, she was unpopular. It was just bad. Biden won the nomination in 2020 and in 2020, rightfully in 2024, but because of the bad debate performance, and I'm trying to be nice when I say bad debate performance, I think he just showed America how he was not up for the job. And the Democrats knew we don't have a shot. Now, they didn't have a shot with Kamala Harris, apparently, either. Like I said, we see the polls from election night. Donald Trump took all 7 swing states. She underperformed Biden in every single category. And she was a bad candidate. But Biden was the rightful candidate. And he ran until, I think, early July. Sometime in July, he stepped down. But this was supposed to be the race. This was supposed to be the Trump versus Biden 2. If you watch UFC or a fight, and the two fighters have fought multiple times, they will put I'm gonna use Paul and Tyson this time. If Paul and Tyson, who is fighting later on tonight at the time of this recording, if Tyson and Paul would fight 2-3 more times, you would have a 2, 3, or 4. And that's what this should have been. This should have been a Biden versus Trump 2 battle. But it didn't happen. And after the election, this is tradition. Now, Biden is a traditionalist, according to multiple news sources. So he wants to get back to this tradition of the presidents, or the president and the future president meeting together before Inauguration Day. And this has happened before with current and future presidents. The current president will invite the future president and show him the White House and show him how things are done, and have this photo op of them sitting down in the Oval Office. This is the problem, though. The whole thing with this, and if Trump wouldn't have went, I would have understood. This is for someone that has never been in the White House or has never seen the role of the president. Someone that never was president before. Donald Trump was the president of the United States. He was in the Oval Office. He was in the White House. He knows that place. Now, again, this is tradition that it happens. We have to go back to 4 years ago when Donald Trump did not afford Joe Biden the same courtesy. We understand that 2020 was a weird year for politics. It was a weird year in general because this was the year of the pandemic. You had people shutting down. It was just a bad year for politics in the sense of that nothing was normal. And also you had Donald Trump believing that the election, there was some stuff that happened in the election, some shady stuff. We'll say it like that for, our YouTube audience and all. But it was just a weird year in 2020 going forward in that election in 2019 to 2020. Oh, 2020 election, not 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, it was weird, but Donald Trump did not afford Biden that same opportunity. But Biden knew the White House as well. He was the vice president of Barack Obama, so he lived in the White House. Now, this meeting did stir up a lot of things, especially on The View, where some on The View didn't think this was proper by Biden letting a convicted felon go into the White House. Well, he's president-elect. He should go into the White House. He's going to be there for 4 years. Trump does not have another term. And look, there's some people that are trying their best to make an argument that we should extend the presidential election to a third term. And I don't think so. I don't think George Washington started the tradition. I can't talk this morning. I apologize. He started the tradition of only two terms. There was only one president that served 4 terms, and that was Franklin D. Roosevelt. And this was in a time of war, but they didn't have term limits until after World War II. Why? Because presidents before Franklin D. Roosevelt said, you know what? George Washington kept the tradition of 2 terms. We're going to keep the tradition of 2 terms. It was never set in stone until after Franklin D. Roosevelt's 4th term. And it was, hey, this could, if they keep winning, they could be dictators. So, you know, they said into the Constitution, hey, we're going to go ahead and do 2 terms. And look, it was rightfully so. Our leaders of after World War II were correct on that. But there is some that I've heard it. Oh, well, Trump should have a 3rd term. No, Trump should not have a 3rd term. Let's keep the laws and traditions of our great country. But you had this tradition was played out. Trump thanked Biden for a smooth transition period. This came after Biden said, look, we're going to make sure everything is smooth and everything is going to go in order. Now, Biden saying this, I don't know if he put a pun, he was trying to rub it into Donald Trump's face, because people see the 2020 election and him being inaugurated in 2021 as not a smooth transition of power. We've talked about this before on the show. Everybody that looks at January 6th or January 20, they say that it was not a smooth transition of power. It was this was untraditional. It was wrong by Donald Trump for he was trying to be a dictator and everything. And I just come back to the point, and I do this with the Bible all the time. When people that disagree with me, I just bring out the Bible, and you have to make the argument. I bring out that date. Okay, January 6th, first off, Trump said, peacefully and patriotically, make your voices heard. Now, look, there were some supporters that went to the Capitol. We cannot deny that. But Trump has proved it through X post and through his video that day and on his speech at the Capitol, peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. But then you go to January 20th of 2021. Did Joe Biden become president that day? Yes. Did Donald Trump's people leave the White House? Yes. Now, was it as smooth as other transitions? No, I'll give him that. But there still was a transfer of power. So all these people, well, Donald Trump's a dictator. Donald Trump got out the White House. Maybe this is what Biden was talking about when he says, I pledge a smooth transition between the administrations. Maybe so. I don't know. But Biden is looking for a smooth transition. He said, I look forward to having a smooth transition. We'll do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated what you need. President Biden said as cameras and reporters were briefly allowed in the Oval Office for the meeting. Now, Trump also spoke as well. He said he emphasized that politics is tough, and in many cases it's not very nice world, but it's a nice world today. And he told President Biden, I appreciate very much the transition that's smooth. It will be as smooth as it can be. I very much appreciate that, the former and future president added. So we're getting there, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting there. Trump is getting his administration together, and it looking like it's going to be a smooth transition. It's not going to be, as the former Harris campaign staffer said, hey, Biden needs to resign and give Harris the presidency, and the whole transfer of power goes up in the smoke. So Biden is, and look, I'll give credit to Biden on that. I'm glad that he is pushing for a smooth transition. Now, I will say this, and I saw an article with this, and people on social media saw it as well, and social media erupted. Biden looked very joyful. I'm going to use air quotes there. It looks like he's ready to get out the White House. Um, there's some even saying, did he vote for Trump because he looked like he was starstruck? No, look, I don't know. I've never been in that position of the president of the United States. But if you watch a president, and Trump didn't age too much while he was in there, but you can see Trump did age. The two that's most evident is probably Biden. Biden looks totally different than he did 4 years ago. I understand age catches up with you, but the stress of being the president of the United States, that really has to play on a person's age. And I remember Barack Obama. Now, Barack Obama was there for 8 years. When Barack Obama got in there, he was young, full of life. When Trump first took office, Obama looked totally different. And understand, this is a stressful job. You are the leader of the free world. And I wonder, I'm just, because if you look at the pictures as well, Donald Trump is like, can we get this over? I got work to do. And I understand it's a photo op and he's showing him the White House. He's helping him out. I understand all that, but it looks like Donald Trump is just, let's get this over with. Let's talk about what we need to talk about. And I need to go back to Mar-a-Lago and do what I need to do. That's what I see from it. But Biden looks like he's cheerful. Like he's like, yes, I'm finally getting out of this place. Did he want to get out? No, but the Democrat Party forced him out. And they had the result on Tuesday. So I'm just saying, he looked very, very happy that Donald Trump was in the White House. Now, like I said, he could be thinking, well, I'm ready to get out of here. That could be the play. I don't know. But I'm just saying, if you go look at the pictures, Donald Trump has his hands and he's bumping them together. And he's just like, let's get out. Because he got some work to do. And he knows he got work to do. That's just something I'm observing. But like I said, Biden looked very joyful. Not like Kamala Harris and Jill Biden, where they were seen at an event and they looked like they wanted to grab each other's throat and start duking it out on the front lawn or wherever they were located. It looked like all the joy has escaped the Democrat Party, except in Joe Biden's world. Joe Biden might be smiling because he's thinking, well, after this, I get to hit my ice cream button. I don't know. I heard that too. I was watching some documentary saying that they have a button on the Resolute desk, and that button says he presses it, and that means ice cream is coming up. So I don't know. Maybe he was excited. He maybe thought they would have ice cream after lunch. I don't know. But Biden looked very cheerful. So, but continue on to Trump's work. Trump got a lot of work to do to fix the mess that this current administration has put, and the work is just beginning. He did go ahead and make some picks, and we're going to talk about the picks later on because one is very controversial in my opinion, and I don't think Trump should have made that pick, but a lot of Trump picks are going to be controversial. We have the news anchor from Fox News that has been hired as a Secretary of Defense. He has a military background. That one ain't that, to me personally, I think the pick he made recently is more controversial than that, but the media is spinning all that on. But anyway, going to Trump got a lot of work. Trump needs the House of Representatives and he needs the Senate. And guess what? We can report. Now Fox News has finally reported, where after several other news networks have reported, including the AP and several other sources, that Republicans will retain the House of Representatives. And this is big news. Also big news that they have already picked their leadership. They have picked Mike Johnson to continue to be House Speaker. This is a good thing. Mike Johnson is a strong conservative. He stands behind the Trump agenda, and he's going to get Trump's stuff done. This is good. The House is there. Now, I'm concerned. I mentioned it last week, and Mike Calderis was in the chat. Not last week, last episode. Mike Calderis was in the chat, and we started talking in the chat that, these congressional seats that Donald Trump is picking, because Donald Trump has picked at least 3 to 4 Congress people to be part of his administration. Now, I did the math, okay, and I looked at Fox News. Congress is controlled. It's right now, it just passed over the 219 mark, I believe. And several other outlets have other races already called, but Fox News is being very conservative about which state they're called. Now, there's some races in California. I think Idaho, one of them. if the Republican wins, all the Republicans that are winning right now, if they continue to lead and they win the election, we should have 224 to 223, 224, something around that area. Now, they have to fill those seats. And again, these are safe seats that Republicans are probably going to win again. But my thing is, what if you pick so many people, it goes under the 220, the 218? Now, I could be wrong because they're not there voting and all that. Republicans still maintain the majority. I just don't know. I don't know. I would have to look into that. But it just bothers me that Trump is picking a lot of Congress people when you have a slim majority. It's the same thing with Marco Rubio. Okay, if he chooses Marco Rubio, that brings our majority in the Senate down to 52. We have a 53 right now. So, look, understand, Florida it's looking pretty safe. But we would have to see how that happens. But anyway, the Republicans have retained the House, and Mike Johnson is the leader. Now, this was a big twist because you didn't hear about Josh Thorne. I hope I'm saying his name right. I listened to Brett Baer last night to make sure I said it, and I should have listened before the show. But Josh Thorne has been selected as the Senate leader. This is the Senate majority whip. He is behind Mitch McConnell. Now, I don't want to say anything bad about Josh Thorne, but I thought Rick Scott would have been the better pick in this situation. Why do I say that? Because he is more on the line of the agenda that Trump is trying to pass. And if you want to call it America First, if you want to call it Make America Great Again agenda, whatever, I don't know if Josh Thorne will do the job. Now, this is the good thing about Josh Thorne. He was on Brett Baer's special report after this election, this secret election in the Senate, where he got the 27 votes to become the Senate leader of the Republican Party. Excuse me, my sinuses are killing me this morning. Anyway, but yeah, so Josh Thorne won the secret ballot, and he went on Brett Baer, and he said, look, America spoke. They want the policies of Donald Trump. We're going to push the policies of Donald Trump. And Josh Thorne was one that was kind of like in the middle. Okay, we knew John McCormick was like Mitch McConnell all the way. We knew Rick Scott would push the agenda. And it's like senators said, well, look, these are two extremes. We're going to go for the middle. The problem with the middle is that's how they did it for the Congress with Paul Ryan. And look how that worked out. Look, Paul Ryan was the biggest opponent to Donald Trump, and he was on the same party. So I'm hoping Josh Thorne is not doing the same thing. Now, Josh Thorne did say that he would go ahead and confirm Trump's cabinet and all that stuff. So let's hope he stays the course. Let's hope he stays on that messaging of that he's going to go ahead and push the Trump agenda. Because, ladies and gentlemen, and look, we all agree with this. I know a lot of you come to Mike's Live or from Mike's Source Show. I think Dr. Mike, Kyle DeReese, myself, Amber May, and several other content creators on this platform would agree. Donald Trump has because some people say he needs to do it in 100 days. I don't think he needs to do it in 100 days. But he needs to get his agenda within 2 years together and done. Because we have the House of Representatives. We have the Senate. We need to make sure that the agenda is passed this time. A lot of people don't remember, but in 2016, the 2016 election, Donald Trump won both houses of chambers. He won the Senate and he won the House. But Paul Ryan, being the rhino he was, sabotaged Donald Trump's agenda. Just not Paul Ryan, but multiple people that were in the Trump administration sabotaged his view and his values. He sabotaged his plan. They went ahead and did this. We saw it. This is why Donald Trump is picking people that will align with his agenda this time. And he needs the House and the Senate to get the job done. We don't need people that are part of the deep state or the establishment and stop his agenda. This is why I was hoping Rick Scott would have won this secret ballot. And this is another thing, too, and I'm just thinking about, the Senate never has a secret vote. Why they have a secret vote on their leadership? I'm asking the question, why? Because, who you pick as your leader shows who you are. Now, I don't know how John Kennedy or Bill Cassidy voted, but I think this should be public for us to see if you are aligning with us. Because if you're not aligning with us, I have an issue. This should not be a secret ballot, in my humble opinion. But again, Republicans all hold the House and they hold the Senate, but we need the leadership to do their job. This is one reason why I was upset with Louisiana. Louisiana, Governor Landry, they've overwhelmingly voted for Jeff Landry to be governor of our great state. And he gets in there and people that are part of the House of Representatives here in Louisiana and the Senate of Louisiana and our House seats, I don't understand the leadership picks. Leadership determines how your state or your government's going to go. And look, like I said, Mike Johnson getting that position back is great. Now, I want to see what Mike Johnson does, too, because he had a slim majority. He still has a slim majority, but he didn't have the backing of the president or the Senate. Let's see what he pushes through. All right, talking about Trump's agenda and just going through that whole rant of Trump picking the right people. Trump made some more picks this week. He picked Tulsi Gabbard as the director of national intelligence. Good pick. And also RFK is probably going to get the health and human services position. He's been nominated for that. On this point, before we talk about the congressman from Florida, I think these are two good picks, and he kept his promise to them. He told them, look, if you jump on my side and you jump on my agenda, I will go ahead and put you in positions to where the things that matter most to you, you can go ahead and do it. Now, I'm going to say, Tulsi Gabbard is a Republican now, so she has saw the light and she has come over to our side. RFK is independent, but he did run for the Republican, the Democrat seat before the Democrats said, look, we don't want you here. You need to move on. He ran as an independent and gained the support of, Donald Trump gained his support. Now he's part of the Trump administration. And look, this was key for Trump. Trump getting Tulsi Gabbard and Robert Kennedy's support was very key. Do you know if Robert Kennedy would have stayed in the race, it would have been a tougher race for Donald Trump to win on Tuesday night. Would Donald Trump have won it, or would Kamala Harris would have won it? I don't know. But if 5 million people would have voted for RFK instead of Donald Trump, we would have had a bad night, and it would have split the vote. So this is why Donald Trump has gained the support of RFK. RFK's big push is for a more healthier America. He wants to make America healthy again. So this pick is pretty good for him. He wants to go after the FDA. He wants to go after the restrictions on vaccine. He wants to do all this stuff. So Donald Trump putting him was no big surprise. Again, Tulsi Gabbard jumping from the Democrat side to the Republican side. The director of national intelligence. Tulsi Gabbard is a real smart person. And I want to make this point, too, before going on to the congressman of Florida. Mark Cuban can go ahead and eat his own words. Why? Because he said Donald Trump don't like being around strong women. Really? Well, his new chief of staff is a very strong woman and wise woman. You have several other women like Kristi Noem that's going to be part of the administration. And now you have Tulsi Gabbard. Very strong, independent women. So Trump don't want women to show him up. It don't look like it. It looked like he's eating his words. And Trump is not picking by DEI either. He's trying to pick on who's the best qualified for the job. And this is why a lot of people like Marco Rubio. They like his stance on foreign aid and foreign policies. I've said, look, I thought that was a little shaky pick. But I think Marco Rubio, if he does become Secretary of State, he's going to do a good job. But at the same time, he's a safe pick. I look at some of these nomination picks, and I'm like, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. Like Marco Rubio, that's to say, it's going through. The journalist from Fox News, that might be kind of shaky. But the next pick that Donald Trump did this week is already facing criticism from the GOP, and that is Matt Gaetz. Now, Matt Gaetz is a congressman from Florida. Very, very controversial. Him and Marjorie Taylor Greene probably would be the most conservative, which ain't a bad thing, but they have a lot of issues. They have a lot of controversy around these two congressional leaders. Now, I'm going to say this, as controversial as they are, they always still get elected. They are very, very strong Republicans. And this Matt Gaetz's pick, the Matt Gaetz pick that Trump did, when it goes into congressional election or a special election, which could be done in a couple of weeks, according to some in Florida, Matt Gaetz is going to be replaced by a Republican. That's hopeful. Now, he has been selected for the Attorney General spot, and Trump did this because, look, Matt Gaetz is a real good, strong conservative, and he backs Trump 100%. Going back to my point about Senate and the congressional leadership, you need people that's going to push your agenda. Now, Matt Gaetz is being Attorney General. He can run investigations. He possibly could go after people that he feels is a threat. I'm hoping this isn't the case, but maybe Trump's trying to put him in there to go after his political opponents. I hope that's not the case. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think Trump would do that, but Matt Gaetz, the Attorney General, can look into a lot. He can look into January 6th. He can look into a lot of stuff that has been overseen. That's a good part of it. Does he get confirmed? No. I think this is one of the picks that Donald Trump is not going to get confirmed. Why? Because of the controversy on the Republican side. He does not have friends on the Republican side either. You know, a lot of people look at Matt Gaetz and, the Democrats don't like him. There's a lot of Republicans that don't like him either. Now, look, Donald Trump don't need to go ahead and do all safe picks. Remember, last time he picked the safe picks, and guess his administration was sabotage. So I understand this as well. Now, what I disagree with Matt Gaetz, right after being told, hey, you're going to be the Attorney General of the United States, he resigns from Congress, starting immediately. That was not right by him. Now, and look, Johnson said, hey, this was a surprise. Okay, look, we're glad you're nominated as the Attorney General, but what if you don't get it? You're still in a position of power. But no, I'm going to go and quit. Is he that confident he's going to be the Attorney General? This is still a nomination process. Now, I was talking to a good friend, and I'll give him a plug. Kelby from the Kelby and Joe show. I sent him this, and we were talking about it a little bit, and he feels this isn't the pick that Donald Trump really wants, and the next pick's going to come down the line. That's a good suspicion. Hey, get the scent off of the real person that you want. But Matt Gaetz, I just don't say. Look, I like Matt Gaetz and some of his policies. I do. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't. But I don't think this is a pick that's going to happen. And in him resigning from Congress, well, you just put us in jeopardy, especially immediately. We're trying to hold this slim majority. But they want to go ahead and, hey, he resigned. Now, look, that's the thing. What if you don't become Attorney General? You're no longer in power to make decisions. Now, he might go make a podcast. I don't know. He might do something like that. But I think this is a very controversial pick. And I don't think he's going to get confirmed. I don't. And I hope I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Maybe he gets it, and he's a great Attorney General. He's going to have a backbone. I'll tell you that. So, but that's some of the latest picks, some of the big picks that Donald Trump has done, and he has named several other ones, but a lot of other stories are going on. And I want to go ahead and jump to a whole different scenario. Let's talk about the media a little bit. And I hate to say this, but I have to call The View the media. They're more of a talk show, but there was a big surprise for The View and ABC. And And the reason this surprise is happening is because of their left-leaning view. What am I talking about? Well, ABC rumored to be seeking pro-Trump panelists for The View. That is from the Daily Wire. And the Daily Wire put this out, and it says, rumors has it ABC is scrambling to add a pro-Trump panelist to The View in the wake of the presidential election landslide victory in 2024 election. The anonymous source who reportedly spoke to the New York Post noted how conservatives across ABC News presidential debate moderators. Conservatives accuse ABC News presidential debate moderators David Muir and Lindsey Davis as tilting the scales against Donald Trump when he faced off against Vice President Kamala Harris in September. Now the source says company executives are evaluating the network's heavily biased show like The View. According to the reports, the source said ABC News Group and network president Deborah O'Connell and ABC News president Aleem, I'm not going to say his last name. Oh, that's a 16-letter word last name. Anyway, they had a meeting on virtues and some executive producers of network shows. One topic of the conversation has been adding a Trump supporter to The View, which is almost always dominated by far-left viewpoints from co-hosts like Whoopi, Joy, Sunny, Sarah. Taken Republican voices have been from anti-Trump, such as Anna Navarro and Griffin. The View is facing pressure from higher-ups, the source told the Post. Viewers can expect some major changes, including bringing in new panelists that can bring in a pro-Trump perspective. Everyone on The View endorsed Kamala Harris. They lost. They are out of touch with America, the insider said. For a show about different perspectives, The View doesn't seem to have any when it comes to Trump. ABC bosses don't want to align the pro-Trump demographic. So, would people watch The View more if a pro-Trump panelist was on the show? Possibly. But The View has a bad reputation. The View has a bad reputation. And look, will they put a pro-Trump support up there? I don't think so, because they're probably going to lose Whoopi. They're going to lose Sonny. They're going to lose several people. And look, I agree with whoever said that ABC, The View is out of touch with the American people. Because let's see a couple of things just in the last couple of days, what they've been pushing out. One, Whoopi endorses Harris voters to avoid holidays with Trump supporting family. It might not be a good time to gather. And I watched the whole clip of that, and they were trying to say, listen, you Harris supporters, don't go to Trump supporters' house because it's not going to be good. They're endorsing something that I have not been endorsing. Families should not let politics divide them. Look, I have people. Look, I'm gracious because I'm privileged. Let's say it like that. Most of my family, if not all my family, are Trump supporters. Most of the people I hang around with are Trump supporters. I do have some liberal friends that look at things different. I will talk with them and I will have a discussion as long as it's peaceful and respectful. And they know that. They know they can come and have a conversation with me. But you should not go to your house, go to your family gathering with the intention, hey, this person is an enemy. This is your family. And look, if politics is a touchy subject, don't talk about it. You know how many times I go to family events and there's touchy subjects that I don't bring up? But The View, instead of saying, hey, work it out with your family, they're saying, no, don't go to that rally. Don't go to that Thanksgiving dinner. Don't go to that Christmas party. Whoopi's telling people, hey, you stay divided. That's how a nation stays divided, yes. When people are not together, they cannot find common ground. That's what keeps this nation divided. And it's not time to be divided. It's time to stand up and be united. This is something that happened this week. Whoopi's telling people to not go to families and keep families divided. That's not a sign of encouragement, or that's not a sign of unity. Sunny Holston, this is according to the Daily Wire, admits she gave Kamala Harris a softball and it backfired. This is talking about, I think she's talking about the question, well, hey, what you and Biden what would you have done different? And Kamala's like, oh, I wouldn't do nothing different. And this was, she appeared on Behind the Table podcast. Holston said she was, let's see. Yeah, so the View co-host Sunny Holston admitted that in her attempt to give Vice President Kamala Harris a softball, it actually backfired and might have been one of the things that resulted in the VP's loss of the presidential election. During the show Behind the Table podcast, Holston said even when she was surprised with the answer after she asked Harris if there was anything she would have done differently from President Joe Biden in the last 4 years. In Harris's response, there's not a thing that comes to mind, was immediately used in the Trump campaign's ad across the country. I follow up because I was surprised at the answer, Holston admitted. Look, I think it wasn't so much about the question, but it was really more about the answer. The reason I followed up was because it wasn't a gotcha question. That was a line-up, really. So from Holston's words, The View was giving soft answers to Kamala Harris. And look, if you've done this, look, if you're a conservative, The View will really grill you. The View will go ahead and try to get you on a got you moment if you're a conservative. If you're on the left, they give you softball questions. This is why people don't watch The View. Again, this is maybe why ABC is rumored to try to put a pro-Trump analyst on there. Whoopi just yesterday, I believe, made a claim that a owner of a business, of a bakery business, didn't want to fulfill her order because of political views. Come to find out, the owner of the restaurant or the bakery said it wasn't that. I'm so booked up, I didn't want to go ahead and say yes, and I couldn't fulfill it. And if I'm not mistaken, that bakery still fulfilled the order. But Whoopi, being all butthurt because she couldn't get her pastries for her birthday, said, oh, the bakery just didn't like me. They didn't like my political views. Instead of trying to find out the facts. Now, Whoopi's supposed to be a comedian, not a journalist. But I even think if I dug deeper into something that simple, I would find out, hey, it's not my politics. It was because they're overwhelmed. It's a bakery. It's a popular bakery. Again, this is reasons why ABC is looking at The View. This is all from the past couple of days. Yeah, it isn't from a span of 3 years that I'm pulling this material. I could, but The View. This is all from the last 2 days. These are articles that are fairly new. ABC host calls on Biden to issue preempted pardons for Jack Smith, Liz Cheney, and others. This is Ana Navarro. Ana Navarro said on The View, she called on Joe Biden to issue a handful of pardons, most of them pre-indictment, before President-elect Donald Trump takes office in January. Navarro said Biden should go ahead with a pardon for his son, Hunter Biden, who was already being convicted on several gun and tax-related charges, and then claimed that he should sign off on pre-indictment pardons to Vice President Kamala Harris, January 6th committee members, and former Rep. Liz Cheney, Adam Kinslinger, and to Special Prosecutor Jack Smith, because she believes Trump was likely to try to have them prosecuted. Now, she has no evidence of that. None whatsoever. But Navarro voiced her concerns also on X on Thursday. Dear at Joe Biden, pardon Hunter before those clowns go after him to take revenge on you. And while you're at it, give a pre-indictment pardon to Liz Cheney, Kamala Harris, Adam Kinslinger, and Jack Smith, and anybody else who may be on the enemy's list of the promised retribution. Now, look, Trump said the only retribution he's going to give is that he's going to change the agenda and he's going to win. Donald Trump, and I could be wrong, has never, ever said he was going to go straight after people. Now, like I said, I could be wrong. And if people have it, you can always send me the message at thecajunconservative5@gmail.com. But, look, like I said, she don't have... Now, he did say he was going to fire Jack Smith, but we already got word that Jack Smith is going to. I got the article right here. Let me pull it up. Let's go ahead and do this. Where's it at? All right, yeah. Special Counsel Jack Smith, this is from Fox News, asks courts to halt his appeal against Trump in Florida's case. This is going on right now, but I had an article that he said, well, he's going to go ahead and resign before President Trump takes office. So, ladies and gentlemen, she's saying that Trump's going to go after him. If he leaves, the case is done. But Ana Navarro saying that Biden should do these pre-indictment, these pardons for Liz Cheney and all these people before they even charge with anything is absurd. But this is going back to the original point. The View is out of touch. And it's not The View. It's not all views. Okay, if I go ahead and make a show called The View, I want to have a conservative, a liberal, someone in the middle, because you're supposed to present all views, and you're not. And I see why ABC is trying to find conservative people to be on it. Now, this will be the issue too. Will conservatives go on it? If I'm a conservative, I would not. Because one conservative against 5, well, let's say 3 liberals for sure and 2 so-called Republicans that are really rhinos. And look, I'm going to say this. Look, the McCains, I'm not that big of a fan of the McCains. John McCain was not my favorite senator. His daughter was on The View. And she was more conservative than Griffin. And they ran her out of there because she didn't agree with Trump, but at the same time, she backed a lot of the Trump policies. And The View were like some scavenging wolves, and they tore her up. I think it's Meghan McCain, if I'm not mistaken. If McCain couldn't stay on there, now you have to have at least 2, in my opinion, 2 Trump supporters. All right, moving on to a couple of stories, and we're going to wrap this up and enjoy our weekend. But tonight, you better watch 2 Mics Live. All right, collegiate women's volleyball players filed Title IX lawsuit against school over trans players. I'm happy this is starting to come about. For the last couple of years, we have been told that trans players, if you were a biological male, you should, and you thought you were a woman, you should play in women's sports. And women in collegiate sports are finally starting to stand up and say, this is enough. Because if you are a biological male, you should not be playing in female sports. That's how I feel. And you can go ahead and be mad at me. You can go ahead and say, well, I'm just saying, because you go ahead and have a surgery does not change your gender. But this is from the Daily Wire. Collegiate women's volleyball players filed multiple lawsuits on Wednesdays, according to the Mountain West Conference, over the inclusion of trans-identifying male players in their sports. The dozen women have quoted violations of their First Amendment rights and Title IX protections in response to the San Jose State University biological male star player Blair Fleming participating in the NWC, prompting 4 schools in the conference to forfeit games, according to the SJSU Outkick report. Several of the flaming SJSU teammates, like Captain Brooke Slasser and 2 former Spartans, along with female athletes from 4 other colleges, are part of the suit against the conference, its commissioner, and the SJSU officials over the conference adoption of the transgender participation policy in September after the first school, Boise State, forfeit its game. The suit says that the policy is intended to chill protests and other expression conduct, including boycotts on a women's right issue of women athlete in the MWC. It also claims that the trans policy was adopted outside of the normal course of MW rules and procedures, and that it was in effect to prevent schools from exercising their First Amendment rights, the outlet noted. Now, Riley Gaines went ahead. Riley Gaines is the famous swimmer that had to swim against the transgender woman in Penn State. I can't think of that guy's name at the moment, but she wrote on X, "This is huge. Female volleyball players in the Mountain West Conference drop a bombshell lawsuit against the Mountain West, quoting First Amendment and Title IX violations. Several of the SAU teammates signed on as well. This is the way. Hold the line." Now, Riley Gaines is a big advocate for women's sports, and she does not want what happened to her happen to them. And look, credit to Riley Gaines for doing that type of stuff. But look, I give credit to these women. You know how hard it took for women's sports to get to where it's at today, and you have men that cannot perform, so they say they are women and they're going to women's sports. And look, I'm glad this lawsuit's coming out. Now we can finally start getting to the gritty nitty of this stuff. First off, they can't speak about it. That's violating their First Amendment right. Hey, we don't think it's right. You shut up or you're not on the team. Hey, what about women's rights? Title IX. Oh, don't talk about that. We're going to push these rules because left-leaning whinies wanted this. But you know what gets me? Most of these people that make these rules are college professors. They should know better. But it's funny, smart people can't figure out simple biology. All right, one more thing, and then we're going to wrap this up and go home. Blinken, the current Secretary of State, says Biden will funnel as much money as possible to Ukraine before Trump takes over. That is according to the Daily Wire. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that President Joe Biden and his administration are committed to spending as much funding as possible to Ukraine in the remaining weeks before President-elect Donald Trump takes office in January 20th of 2025. Blinken, speaking to NATO headquarters in Brussels, Belgium, pointed to a recent profound and incredible dangerous development, the moment of North Korea's soldiers to aid in Russia's war on Ukraine, and argued that it was the most important for the United States to continue supporting Ukraine's effort to repel the Russian troops. Blinken noted that NATO as a whole needed to deliver a firm response before pivoting to the U.S.'s roles in this responsibility. As we are working to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs to effectively defend itself, the United States continues to step up. We've obligated just recently and pushed out the door another $8 billion in security assets for Ukraine. That was in September. Another almost $500 million just a few weeks ago. President Biden has committed to making sure that every dollar we have at our disposal will be pushed out the door between now and January 20th. He said, we're making sure that Ukraine has the air defense it needs, that it has the artillery it needs, and has the armored vehicle it needs. Ladies and gentlemen, $8 billion just went to Ukraine. I don't know the number. I wish I had it. I should have looked. Maybe they have it in this article. Let's see. Nope. You know how many billions have gone to Ukraine? Now, Joe Biden might get out of office and he goes to Ukraine and he can run for president and he probably would win because he has done more than Zelensky has. All Zelensky has done is, hey, let's make money. Or maybe Zelensky will give him one of his yachts. Ladies and gentlemen, for Blinken to go ahead and tell NATO and other allies, we are going to send more and more money to a war that's a stalemate right now, is absurd. I am lost for words. Why are we still supporting Ukraine? Look, I understand Ukraine should defend itself. I'm not going to be against that. And look, we want to sell them weapons and make money. I'm not against that either. But for us to keep spending money on Ukraine on a war that is not going nowhere, it's surprising to me. But this is the Biden administration. It should not surprise anybody. And look, I'm hoping that when Trump gets in there, and look, he said it, look, we need to do it before Trump because we're not going to send money to Ukraine no more. I hope not. I will say this, though, and in full honesty, you know, we need to still continue to help Ukraine, but we need to help Ukraine in this war and in it in a peaceful manner. And I think Donald Trump's going to do that. Look, we already got word that Trump is doing. He's not president yet, and things are happening in the Middle East and in Europe. But we just have to see. But they want us to keep spending money. Why? Why Ukraine? I think at the end of the day, when we go ahead and get to the bottom of this, we're going to see a lot of things that were pushed for this Ukraine war, and it was benefiting people. I promise you, people are suffering in Ukraine, and it shouldn't be suffering. That is my humble opinion. Biden should have done certain things to stop this war, and Donald Trump's going to stop it. And he's probably not going to send money to do it either. With that being said, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Isaac Hayes Show. Another one in the books. Ladies and gentlemen, so happy to be with you here. I love hanging out with you guys every other day, because we do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. To all my new listeners, thank you for joining the Isaac Hayes family. We pray that you are blessed, and all the family that is here now. You know, hope you have a great weekend. Please keep me in prayer, and on Monday we'll be doing it again. So until next time, you be blessed, you be encouraged. Remember, Jesus Christ is King. He's coming back, and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has already overcome the world. You just have to accept him and trust him as your Lord and Savior, and he will make heaven your home, and you will shun hell's fires. Remember, Jesus has already conquered the world, and he has saved us. All we have to do is accept him. Until next time, you be blessed, you be encouraged, you have a good one. Love you guys.